Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So, Walt Disney, now known as Woke Disney, has decided to shock the entire world by doing something I never thought they would actually do. Could it be that Disney is actually learning from what happens when you do go woke and you don't actually focus on what the founder of Walt Disney and the man's name that you carry intended Disney to be? Walt Disney, that wanted to actually spread joy to kids everywhere and not try and trans them and go into the woke messaging of things, like actually have good stories? Could it be that Disney is finally deciding to shift its gears because they're not really making any money? And if you saw the trailer for the new Snow White, it's had 1.1 million down, like thumbs down, like negative views on just a trailer alone, and only 100,000 likes, up likes. That is a shocking ratio, people, just in case you were wondering. Now, the reason why I'm saying could it be that Disney is deciding to have a change of heart, maybe, is because they have decided to pull a transgender storyline from Pixar's Win or Lose streaming series. It's a pretty big deal, right? So, Pixar is part of Disney. It was originally created by Steve Jobs after he was ousted from his own company. And after that, Disney decided to pick it up. And we had the likes of Toy Story and all these other great animated films come after it. But ever since Disney's gone woke, they've gone broke quite a bit. They've lost a lot of money. Marvel's in the toilet. Lucasfilm in the toilet. They can't seem to make anything that is really hitting that much. Inside Out 2 was probably the one movie that they made that did very well, I thought, and was actually a decent movie. Wasn't the best, but it was a decent movie, right? So, breaking, Disney has finally decided to pull transgender storyline from the upcoming Pixar streaming series Win or Lose. Disney's official statement: when it comes to animated content for a younger audience, we recognize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects with their children on their own terms and timeline. Is Disney fine to realize that if you go woke, you go broke? Who knows? So, Gays Against Groomers have gone, there should have never been a transgender storyline in the first place. Then we wouldn't have had to really reveal that they've pulled the transgender storyline. And obviously, the woke mob are going crazy. They're not happy about Disney pulling this story. They're going, no, why in the world are you, relenting to the main demographic of society? Why aren't you giving us what we want, the small little minority group? The backlash from mainstream media as well is ever increasing. Here's an article from the New York Times. Disney pulls transgender storyline from new series. The animated Win or Lose follows a middle school softball team, and each episode is told from the perspective of a different character. Seems like a good idea, right? We've all got different perspectives about the world and life and et cetera, et cetera. So I think if you've got a series that is focused on different people's perspective, why in the world have you got a young child that is claiming to be transgender in the series? You've got a serious problem on your hands, Disney. Oh, we want to be all inclusive. So let's include a child, which we know there are no such thing as trans kids. Pixar, a division of Walt Disney Studios, removed a transgender storyline from its animated series Win or Lose, which is set to start streaming in February. Disney said on Tuesday the series follows a middle school co-ed softball team in the week leading up to the championship game, and each episode is told from the perspective of a different character. Transgender character will remain in the show, Disney said, but a few lines of dialogue focused on the dude. Of course, it's a dude pretending to be a girl. Focused on its gender. A plot point that appeared near the end of the 8-episode series have been edited out. So they haven't really pulled much, if anything at all. They haven't really come to terms, because if they really did, they would pull the entire character altogether. And I don't think Gays Against Groomers or even Libs of TikTok realize the full extent of what Disney did. It's just a headline that they got. And they may not have read the full article and what Disney had decided to do. So obviously Disney made their statement, which I read out to you a moment ago. The decision to remove the story arc was made over the summer, Disney said. Change was reported earlier by The Hollywood Reporter. Disney has frequently drawn the air of conservative groups over its inclusion of LGBT whatever characters and storylines in family movies. In 2022, the company released Lightyear, which featured a same-sex kiss and Strange World centered on a gay teenage boy. That same year, the company's chief executive at the time, Bob Chapek, faced criticism when he refused to condemn anti-LGBT legislation in Florida. When he finally explained his silence, a union representing his employees called the decision a monumentous misstep. When Robert Iger, Mr. Chapek's predecessor, returned to Disney as chief executive in late 2022, he said some of the company's shows and movies have become too political in order to review of projects in the works. Last year, the company decided not to release an episode from the animated Disney Channel show Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur that focused on a recurring transgender character interest in sports. Why do we need any of this stuff? We don't. And thankfully, Disney decided not to even go ahead with that. Win or Lose was created by Michael Yates, Carrie Hobson, and David Lally. Will Forte voices the coach. So why do we need any transgender players or characters in a softball game? Oh, it's so the kids can feel seen and heard and all that sort of other nonsense. It's ridiculous. The studio is far from alone in grappling with political fallout from politically charged content. All of Hollywood is bracing for what could be a tumultuous 4 years in the Trump administration. Hello, it's time to get rid of all the woke shit. It's done. President-elect Donald Trump, who won their sweeping victory last month, has routinely criticized diversity, equity, inclusion efforts, and it's been widely reported that a number of businesses have started to pull back on DEI programming because we don't need any of it. Just get rid of it. A trend that underrepresented groups fear will only continue. Oh, no. We've got underrepresented groups. They're afraid, man. What are we going to do about it? Top media execs have already met with Trump, including Apple's Tim Cook, while Netflix's Ted Sarandos is scheduled to meet with him at Mar-a-Lago today. So we'll wait to see what actually happens, people, but it's not really what Disney or what the headlines are saying, because the transgender individual is still in the show. Just so you know, the arc, the actual episode of the transgender individual from its perspective is not there, as far as I'm aware, but the transgender character itself is still in the show. So parents, you decide whether or not you want to let your kids watch a show like that, but I would not. Anyway, so I'll let you guys know on the real news instead of just reading headlines and not knowing the full extent of what's going on. But you guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.